Howdy everybody, welcome to my couch. Today we are going to be going over how to finish a cover, or rather an arrangement, of a song that was not originally written or recorded on banjo. So, hopefully this also serves as a guide for anyone trying to translate songs from one instrument into a completely different instrument like guitar into mandolin or something like that. And isn't just useful for banjo players, but I'm a banjo player, so I'm going to keep it about banjos. So, if you remember from last time, we had figured out the basic melody, we had figured out where those notes were with as many open strings as possible, but I wasn't sure how I was going to play it yet. I figured out how I wanted to phrase it, and where I wanted to put my embellishments, and how I wanted to do some rhythmic breaks and whatnot in it, which most of that is just all phrasing, so I figured out how I wanted to phrase it. And I ended up continuing with simplicity, because the early Dylan records, they were very simple. One guitar, one vocal, one harmonica, and him just doing his thing. And I thought keeping it in that spirit made the most sense. And I've tested this out on the street busking and at a few open mic nights, and people recognize it, so it works, because that's the most important part of playing a cover. It's not just you want people to come up to you and be like, hey, you did a great job on that one song there at the end, but I thought I recognized the lyrics. And you want them to be like, yeah, I know this song. So that worked out, where people like got it and they sang along a little bit, which doesn't usually happen. It kind of throws me off every time it does, because it turns out other people know the lyrics to the songs that I'm doing better than I do usually, including my own. That's a joke. I don't even know the lyrics to my own songs. How would anybody else? So the way that I play this, and I ended up doing I'm going to do the first verse through the first, in Dylan's case, it would be a harmonica break after the refrain, but I didn't want to do it on harmonica, and we'll get into how I figured out how to do it, because that turned out to be a problem. News at 11. So, as you can see, I threw in a few hammer-ons. I threw in a very short bit with some hammer-ons and some drop thumb for a rhythmic break where the harmonica break would have gone. I did not sing it because I have this problem where I can only sing moderately decently if I do it real loud. And I'm in my apartment and it's about 9 o'clock at night right now and my kids are sleeping, so I don't want to be too loud, just loud enough. So yeah, that's why there are no lyrics at the moment. I'll probably upload a video of the full cover at a later time after I have a better opportunity to record it. But that day is not today. So let's talk about embellishments and phrasing and the things that I did. So I ran into a problem with the harmonica part where I could not, for the life of me, find any sheet music for harmonicas. I'm not certain it exists. Like, I feel like it has to. Like, that just has to be a thing that exists, or like it was covered in like the piano for a different part where they were like, oh, this is for piano and voice, and then they put the harmonica part in the piano, and I could have just figured that out. But I don't play piano, so I'm not sure which part it was supposed to be, and since I didn't already know the notes, I have no idea what part it was supposed to be. And so I was looking for harmonica sheet music, couldn't find it anywhere. All I could find was harmonica tabs, which are real weird. Just if you're feeling like going down a strange rabbit hole, pick a song, just any harmonica song, and Google its tabs and look at its tabs and try and figure out how you should play it. Because that's what I ended up doing first. I bought myself a harmonica. I even bought myself a holder thinking, you know, maybe I'll just learn and play the harmonica part and just keep a straight G chord through the entire thing. Turns out mustaches get caught in harmonicas all the time. So I don't do that because I don't wax my mustache and I'm lazy. So I just don't play the harmonica part. I was just like, nope, we're doing this on banjo. And then I was back to square one of, well, how do I figure out what this harmonica part is? And then it hit me. I have a chromatic tuner app on my phone. It'll tell me what any note is. I use it to tune my Muhan Vina because that's about the only thing that can. Muhan Vina video coming at a later date. A Muhan Vina is a very strange Indian slide guitar that has resonant sitar strings, 12 of them in the case of the one that I want to use the word built, but really I destroyed a Takamine G series to make it, so I cobbled together Muhan Vina because I wanted one and I didn't have $1,500 lying around to buy one from India. But yeah, I have a chromatic tuner on hand so I can tune that, because tuning the entirety of the D major scale on resonant strings is actually really difficult, and as I've said before, my ear's not that good. So I use my chromatic tuner. So I grabbed my chromatic tuner, I grabbed the harmonica, and I just until it came to a clear note, and then I wrote it down in my manuscript paper. Same exact paper I showed you last time. And you can see, well, you can't see because I didn't show you clearly enough, but he riffs from G up to D, into D sharp, then back down to D, and then does an A and a B on the first one. And then he does the exact same thing in the second one, but at the B, he goes up to G, and then up to E, and then riffs back down to D. And then the third one's actually shorter, and he just does the first one again, but then plays around in B for a little while, like with B and A. And so I just took the basic ending part that he does with the C and the A for the times they are a change thing. And I just took that and I did it in a rhythmic way that would break things up and let me play around a little bit and like be a little dancey, and then let me go back into the next verse prepared, which was the and you might notice that I bounce from the strings in between there, and the only reason why I do that, I don't do that for any particular note purpose of what he had. That's just a common thing that I do when I'm playing, where I like bounce from one string to another, and I'm just like, it's just how I learned to do it, and what I consider to be like a normal rhythm is bouncing from low to high and then back to low as you're doing your bum ditties. So yeah, I phrased this arrangement to run a very simple, straightforward. I still use the exact same as many open strings as possible. I've got about 3 hammer-ons in the verse, or rather 3 places where there are hammer-ons because it repeats twice. And so just 3 places where there are hammer-ons, and then other than that, it's just the straightforward bum ditties, no changes, just bum ditty through it. And like I said, I've played this a few times out places and people have recognized it. And they appreciated it from what I could tell. Some sang along. I usually forget the lyrics halfway through because Dylan has a tendency to be wordy. And I forgot about that when I started doing this cover. So that's a thing that I'm gonna need to fix. So, in essence, last time, we figured out what our vocal melody was and how we wanted, where one place to play it was on the banjo. You don't have to play it there. If you want to do a whole bunch of complicated stuff up here, do it. I can't sing all the way up here. I can barely sing down here, but I can't sing all the way up here. And when I say I can barely sing down here, lowering the tuning won't help me. I can just barely sing, let's be honest here. But so I left it in the lower range and work with it because it works for me. If you want to do it a different way, do it a different way. Don't listen to me. It's your damn banjo. Play it however you want. And as a final thing, some announcements. I am going to be recording an EP that is going to be done entirely on an iPhone. Maybe mostly using the iPhone's internal microphone, but using strictly free recording software off of the App Store, trying to keep it as cheap and accessible as possible, and I will be releasing an entire video series on how I do it and how I'm going to make it sound presentable. I'm gonna do a very simple kind of early Bob Dylan record, but obviously with a banjo and with different kind of folk songs, but it's gonna be one dude, one banjo, sometimes some harmonica, and maybe a tambourine or a foot stomp, but nothing else than that. I'm not gonna add bass. I might add some Muhan Vina. We'll burn that bridge when we come to it. That could just be fun, but it's mostly going to be just, you know, almost one track, like done. I'm obviously going to break up the track so that I can level and whatnot, but you know, I might record some of it while I'm actually busking and whatnot, or while I'm at an open mic and just do it as a live recording and do some of those, because some of those sound great. I don't know. Stay tuned. I will be releasing a video series to go along with it, showing the entire process, so that if you yourself want to get into doing recordings and doing your own recordings, maybe you'll learn some things. Maybe you have a whole lot more money than I do and can buy all of the nice stuff, but the basics don't change. So you'll be able to use the basics that I'll be going over in the series and applying it to that nice stuff, or maybe all you have is an iPhone, in which case, cool, we're in the same place, and I will show you how to record an entire EP with your iPhone. So if that's something that interests you, something that you want to see, hammer on that subscribe button, pluck that like button, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one.